All right, everyone. Thank you guys so much for your patience. But seriously, one more time. Round of applause, everybody. All right, so before we begin, I'd like to start off by asking the more generic questions. How is Disneyland treating you guys?
I love Snow Mountain. That's my favorite.
I got there and I had a churro and I started to get a little nauseous. There was nothing happy about that place. Nothing. Certainly not on Earth. But, I'm kidding. Disney has paid for so many automobiles. Thank you.
One of the saddest things about the last, I haven't been this trip, but one of the saddest things about the last time I was there, just wait, y'all, about 20 years from now, you will find that equilibrium is no longer your religion.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know about
let me
that.
finish. I love crazy, the crazier the better ride, right? I got on the teacups, which I've never had a problem with, ever. I go, all right, everybody, you grab me, with some kids. And we went like twice around. Who is this and what are you doing in my body?
Right.
But I don't have my, stop spinning, stop. And I went, okay, I crossed over.
All right, so I'm the oldest of the four. I'm 76. So, let's see, yesterday was 14 and a half hours and 30,000 steps in Disneyland.
Yeah, baby.
And Renee was there too, doing steps and hours. And so I still love Disneyland. I went there for the first time in 1956. What? Yes. And so I loved it. And no, I didn't do the Incredicoaster. There are certain rules that I have, so I didn't do that. But yeah, Space Mountain, and just had an incredible time. So no one can ever say anything bad to me about Disneyland. So it's home.
Round of applause, everyone. That was great.
And we are extremely excited because Cousin.
Yeah!
Do you guys know this never happens? This having my cousin here is just awesome.
And literally, they really are cousins.
His mom was a king's sister.
Do you know how old these people are? They have no idea what you just said.
Well, my mom was direct cousins with his mom. And so that's what we're cut. Yeah. We were from Mormon family, and so we had different.
We share the same polygamous great whoever, but have different sister wives as our great grandmamas.
Hey, Kate, well, I just want to add, because this is so rare to have Pat along with us, I just want to hear a little crying.
Well, Chelsea, you keep telling me about the good life because it makes me want to puke.
You guys,
That was just amazing, guys.
Pat, this is really
Touched.
kind.
Thank you.
Pat actually, for the last, because we don't do this often. Say again? Okay. Pat doesn't come in because he actually has been cryogenically frozen in the same facility as Walt's had. And we were able to thaw him out because we're in town. So you look great, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Not too much freezer burn. And you look
Thank
great.
you. Is this on straight? Because sometimes they run out. Right.
Hello, buddy. How about that?
I got to tell you a story. Nowhere in history, even in television, did people spend so much time together. Even in Bonanza, you wouldn't see Lauren Green didn't see Michael Landon for weeks. But I spent a year, 9 years, next to Rob Paul's. Now, this is unusual and something I've never shared before, but there was a time we got, my job was making them laugh and vice versa. We knew, okay, there's no audience. So once I had a line for Crank that said, it was written, "How would you like to be bored in oil?" Rob looked at it and wrote something and said, here's your ad lib. So I took his note and I did it on time and they used it on the air. It went, "How would you like to be sauteed in oil with just attaches to the lawn roll?"
Was that voice based on Truman?
No, it was based on the description. So, the description of it, burbling, bubbling, blob of a brain, but funny. And so I thought, well, he's upset. And when I got upset, I used to get heartburn. I go, "No, have to put the brick down and don't Harrison. You see, I know it's flat poop, but it still counts as poop." So, but I would get heartburn. Well, in the fourth grade, I learned how to talk backwards. "Hello, are you Mr. Seal?" So I thought, well, I can't take time to burp. They'll cut it out. So I had to learn how to talk on words. And the entire recording process, the director, Susan Blue, didn't know that I was talking backward. She'd go, "Oh, Pat, just don't talk low there." So anyway, I'm doing this strange character. Well, anyway, that's a funny thought. Oh well, it wasn't Truman Capote. It was just first of all, if you burble, you have to talk like Captain Halfbar. Because they first showed him with an Android body. So he bubbled it up and had tentacles, and you go, well, they cut that because that was too much money. And then went so burbling, and then he was kind of in a different place. So I swim technically and put it like acting as Linguini, throw it at the wall and say it's stuck. And apparently it's stuck. But I must say that both Barry and I had done a movie with the producer, Fred Wolf, years before called The Great American Rabbit. The Great American Rabbit. He remembered us years later and cast us.
Round of applause, everyone.
Learning all this stuff about our good friend Pat Travel here. Didn't know that.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of these panels, everyone. You never know what you're going to find out, even with those that you've known for a very long time. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was beautiful. All right, so it takes us right into a couple of things. First and foremost, I'd like to usually start off by giving you guys your flowers. I don't have any to actually give, like a word. I think that's good enough, right? It's for so many of us, that grew up on TMNT either around that time. It was such a difference maker in our household. So many of us being introduced to something that obviously was a little different, but much needed in our lives, and that really was a phenomenon, cultural phenomenon. It went all over the world, impacted all corners, and you guys really set the tone, really set everything in motion, especially given all that you had to do, overcome, and I'm sure all the callbacks and everything, all the hard work behind the screen, in the booth, time away from family. So really, thank you guys, all of you, so very much for everything you guys truly done. And just know we appreciate it back then, now, and forever. So thank you.
That's really sweet of you, man. But I'll tell you, it's you guys, which that's the reason we're here. Without you guys, there would be no us. So thank you, actually.
Give yourself a round of applause, everybody.
Jen, something that I haven't shared with anybody. here. Usually, I live in different places. I've shared it, but not with people that understand the process. The reason why the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was popular, of course, is because the first show on teenagers, but it was cast so well. You think, well, these old guys. But Barry Gordon actually went through law school during the time we recorded Donatello together. Now, he is a genuine egghead, but a nerd. Townsend Coleman and I had kids in the same school. They were teenagers and knew the lingo. So he knew the lingo of his children. Cam Clark, my cousin, did straight roles, but because the producer was so cheap, we would not hire guests for years. That's why we were able to get Rocksteady and Bebop out of the cast. The other way around.
Round of applause, everybody.
Exactly. Those guys never would have done those roles, but it was like, who's light on the gas? Their contract. Well, I am. Well, you're the Japanese laboratory professor. I can't do an Oriental. You do now. So, and also, then we had Rob Paulson, who was a natural smart aleck. He's a smart aleck all the time.
Shut up.
He had told Michael Bell, who's a pal of ours, sort of. He said to Michael Bell, "Oh, I heard you retired. Oh wait, no, your career retired. I get it wrong." So he makes fun of him. Then we also have Renee Jacobs, who went through 254 with 254 other women for the role of April O'Neil. She literally was chosen after the casting process by the producer, the voice in Hollywood.
Applause, everybody.
Love it.
We should bring you everywhere, Pat. Thank you. Awesome. I know this is a Turtles panel, but I do have to do a quick shout out because someone is here that I haven't seen in about 30 years. And that's my SWAT Cats buddy, Charlie Adler, here in the house. So T-Bone is here, and it always amazes me when people come to the table and talk about SWAT Cats, because I thought 3 people saw it. And so many people come up and talk about it, but I did have to do a shout out because I have not seen him, and boy, what a great reunion. And again, that's because of you guys that I get to see people that I have not seen in so long. And what fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Damn it. Try to get a win right there. No.
Okay, so on that note, everyone, obviously working on a once in a lifetime. I'm sure, obviously, you guys have worked on some beautiful projects, beautiful IPs, with so many amazing companies throughout your illustrious careers, right? But when you look back, did you truly ever imagine that TMNT would become this global phenomenon? From the very first moment you walked in and you knew you got that role, did you really imagine this?
No, and that's absolutely unqualified. No one, pretty much no one ever knows in what we do, like that. And subsequent to the success of Turtles, we've all worked on other, things that have sisters or mice, or they ride motorcycle, whatever. And I even had the folks who put together Biker Mice from Mars. This is like, Turtles Light, and Rick Unker, who created that, to his credit, he said, dude, if we do a quarter of what Turtles did, I'm in Fat City, and he is. Biker Mice made $250 million in Turtles. We're at $8 billion. It takes Barry Gordon 6 months to make that kind of money. But and all of you need to please thank your parents for buying you action figures because as a result of your parents' largesse, my son's teeth are straight today. So thank you.
Yeah, and while we're talking about, did we have any idea that this was going to go where it went? Kevin Eastman is here, and you guys make sure you get. I don't know if he's here today or if it's maybe tomorrow it is. Okay, make sure you go down and give Kev a pat on the back because if it weren't for what was knocking around in his knock at him and Peter Laird, we wouldn't be here.
Cool things. A couple of knuckleheads from Manchester, New Hampshire, drinking a bong water one day, go back and forth and say, hey, what do you think about this? Sure, why not? What could happen? I'm not sure whose aunt, one of them borrowed a few bucks to make their comic book. Sold out right away. And the number of times that all of us have had the pleasure, especially of seeing Kevin, the question always comes up. Jesus, Kevin, did you have it before I got it out? Nope. You just don't know. But when it works, it's timeless, and all it does is make both sides of the equation very, very happy and very grateful.
I actually did know.
It was all part of my little plan. I called Mr. Eastman and I got an idea.
That's amazing. Okay, so in terms of when you look back and you look at the series, what do you think made it truly iconic? I mean, we can say, we're kids, we can say that, right? We were all watching and loving every little moment that you put your heart, soul, breath into for a fun, years, right? But when you look back, what is it that really made it so iconic?
So I have the answer. It's these actors up on stage. Because they brought these two-dimensional characters off the page and made them multi-dimensional. I know there are other iterations, but honestly, I mean, it's a wonderful franchise. But without these amazing creative geniuses, I don't know that it would have gone as far as it did. I really don't.
Well, then, I'll let Adam go ahead.
You, sir, with the camera going in the front row, stand. I don't know if you saw his T-shirt.
What?
Show everybody your T-shirt.
Same here!
Now this is, and I might get a little misty, but Rob Paulson was already doing these conventions before the rest of us, and he goes, "You got to come." And I went, so he like puts a gun to my head and say, "We've just come once, but who's gonna want our autographs?" And that shirt encapsulates how we are here. And when y'all ask about, oh, what did it feel like? Did you think of I think for me, what I never would have grasped is the longevity of the love for it. That you guys, and most of you are your age, and that whoever invented that T-shirt, you need to come by my big booth and let me take a picture of that. Because that's, I think, what surprises so much of the time is that, and then you bring your kids and, you know, all of that, that even as adults, you still want to be a part of this sewer thing.
What Cammie is saying is absolutely true. In fact, if you see this weekend, most of the people who come to stand in our lines are probably 35 to 50. And what you learn from so many of them in your family. Is this your family right here? Oh, well, you know what? You should hook up with them. They're really nice.
Are you single? Are you single, Mom?
Are
you single? Are you single?
Yeah, we'll hook you up.
We'll hook you guys up.
Oh, she's at home? No big deal. Okay. But the thing that is remarkable is the extent to which these characters not only connect with people in their souls, my new friend Jojo, right? From different the Middle East, from everywhere. We had the privilege of being in Abu Dhabi a few years ago. And I think I can speak for all of us, we were a little bit, not reticent, it was lovely to God, but we thought, dude, we went and did our little panel, there were probably 1,000 people there, all dressed in their traditional Arabic clothing, the United Arab Emirates clothing. Turtle power, kawabunga, they knew it all. And that is so powerful. Then, this weekend, and maybe some of you here will take your time to stand in our lines. Many of you fly, drive, buy a ticket, get a hotel room, rent a car to thank us, and then you will share with us the most impossibly personal stories. Things like, but for Ninja Turtles, my childhood was a mess. Now, we're all parents. She's got a goldfish. Cammy, come over here. No, we still need you. Thank you. It's always about Cammy. But we get it. And so anybody who says, "Oh my goodness, you just have to know what this meant to me and my family." Honestly, you guys, this is so unusual.
It is.
And to be in this position is impossibly privileged. So you guys all know individually why it works. And we're not going to argue with you.
Yeah, I mean, we should be asking you what made Turtles successful.
That's exactly right.
Because it's very hard to know. I mean, I've tried to figure it out since I started to do cons. And the only thing that I can come up with is that we were superheroes. And in the late 80s, early 90s, with a couple of rare exceptions, superheroes were not funny. And I think that the combination of the funny and the humor, and then having Shredder say these great, aphorisms that are so important, and, so you're learning and you're, how to be a great person and learning about the virtues and laughing at the same time. And I don't think there were a lot of shows in the 80s that were doing that. Now, I could be wrong. Is that right? So I think that made the show incredibly unique. And the comic book was funny too. So, I really think that it made it very different. That's the only thing that I've been able to come up with, and I'd love to talk with you guys about your thoughts about what made Turtles so different.
Yeah. I just want to backtrack and piggyback real quickly on something Robbie was just saying when we were in the Middle East in Abu Dhabi. And yeah, you heard the total power and stuff. But at the same time, we got a chance to talk to so many young people who had just what to my ear, was American accent. Their English was, you would never know they were from the Middle East. And a couple of them I would ask, where did you learn to speak English so well? Because you grew up here, right? And they said, yes. And they said, actually, it's from your cartoon. And I thought, wow, what a crazy thing.
And you know what? This is important too, I think. It kind of was a moment of realization saying, wow, we can go anywhere in the world, not only talk about turtles, but we can communicate, because every place there's something. That really got my attention. I can say, salam alaikum, alaikum salam, and couscous in Arabic. That's it. These kids, grown-up kids, adults, everybody spoke perfect English. And it was a real reminder that, man, there's a huge world out there that can communicate with you, but you can't do it. So it was amazing.
Round of applause, everyone. So before we get into our next segment, I do have one major question. I have asked Rock this question before, and it revolves around turtle power, right? And I would like to hear from all of you, if possible, when you think of turtle power, so when we think of what made the show so iconic and a phenomenon and why we're here today, it's because that simple terms of turtle power really means a lot to almost everyone, right? So on that note, when you think of turtle power and then you think back of all the lives you've touched, every fan that you can think of that you've interacted with, all the lives that seen, and when you think of turtle power, what does that mean to you?
Dude, that's like really totally easy. Because all I think of is pizza! Right? Just do that. It's like just kicking at the old turtle air. I know we gotta go battle the evil shredder, but not until we have some pizza. My fave, anchovy and hot fudge, of course. All right? Pizza.
Again, I think turtle power is doing the right thing, battling evil, and having one hell of a great time doing it. And that's kind of what I think of as turtle power.
So, turtle power, which is so incredible, I think that it has given those of us who are insecure, and most of us are, something deep down inside you can gain strength from. And my favorite thing is when you come up to the booth and I say, "Turtle power!" and the faces that you give me, you go right back to being that 9-year-old, that 8-year-old, and it is so joyful. And I think that to take you back to your childhood and dig down and reach that turtle power is so powerful. So it's incredible.
So even today, people come up and they say, "I know you hear this all the time." And we always stop you and say, "Yes, but it's the first time you said it. You're the one who took your time to say, 'I know you hear this all the time.' It doesn't matter if you hear it 1 time or 1,000,000 times. It's the first time you hear it. And it is never, ever not privilege. And we all have had experiences both collectively and individually with, children who were struggling. And we used to do these things with famous phone friends at Christmas time. We'd all get together at Bear Stearns, which is Christmas now, and we would have all these pre-set up phone calls to call children in hospitals all over, not just us, everybody. And that is, and when you get a chance to meet some of these kids, we have a friend of ours named Ryan G, who was born with cerebral palsy, just got his master's in mathematics, and now he's getting his doctorate in mathematics.
Round of applause.
Right. Thank you. From Georgia Tech. And to this, he's now 40. And everywhere he goes, he's in his motorized wheelchair and he's unstoppable. But he always goes out of his way to throw light on us that turtle power helped him. And we all know, and I don't mean to be so, yes I do, it's important. He will die in that wheelchair. He will never get out of that wheelchair. And he goes out of his way to make it about us. And his mom says the same thing. Honestly, God, you guys, thank you. Whatever turtle power means to each and every one of you, we will never be able to thank you enough. Ever.
Round of applause. All right, so before we jump into the next segment, I do want to ask you guys one major question. That is, when you look back at special moments, either behind the booth or even that you can think of, even episodes, let's just say episodes, right? Or even special lines. that stick out to you? Is there one line or one moment that just shines above the other? And if so, if you don't mind sharing why.
Cam has I'm going to set up my dear friend Cammy. Cammy has the quintessential Leonardo line. We all have our own, pizza, turtle power, and all that stuff. Does the phrase go something 11 holding me before? That's what. Okay. Cammy has the quintessential turtle line. Go ahead, Cammy.
We gotta think of something fast. Chills, right? Well, then speaking of we gotta think of something fast is, as a lot of y'all know, that I wanted to be Michelangelo, and they knew who all these other guys were going to be. But on the first day of shooting, they wanted us, but didn't know who's going to be which. And they said, well, after the first rehearsal, when we come back, we'll switch. But they literally tossed a coin. So those of you who are in love with this man doing Mike and this man doing Leo,
You can thank
you can
Hips.
thank Tails. That's how long we've been married. I married these 6 coconuts. And so halftime comes, or after the break, and they go, okay, let's record. And I'm like, well, you said we could switch, like, try later. They go, yeah, no, we're good. Yeah, but I want to be Michelangelo. We're good. So a few episodes in, I think this would be initial 5, and I got on these monkeys, they're not turtles, they're monkeys, doing all the funny bits and everything and jumping around and on their heads and craziness. I got jealous. So I started turning Leonardo into a teenage version of Deflator Mouse from the tip. Just wanting to make a spoof on the leader who's the straight guy, part of the pun. And so on a break, the director goes, "Can I see you in the hallway?" He goes, "What are you doing? What do you mean, what are you doing with your voice?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just trying to have a little fun like the other guys, making Leo kind of funny." Well, don't. You're the leader, and you have to be the tether for all this crazy stuff. And it took me a long time because I wanted to be wacky like these guys. And I had to settle in, grateful to be in the franchise, of course. But I went, okay, this is who you are, so be this to the fullest, and just be glad to be on board with the coconuts.
What's interesting is a few years later, we all got significant raises, and then,
What's
we all
thing?
got significant raises. Cam did not, and so Cam said, "Wait a minute, I thought this was Favorite Nations." And they said, "Well, these guys are funny. You are just not funny." So, did you end up making an extra $20 an hour? Sorry. We're gonna have to talk to him later. Sorry, Dan.
Round of applause, everybody. All right, everyone, I'm going to go and open the floor for some questions. So who has some questions over here? All right, Mr. Ford.
Can we hear your impersonation of Leonardo and your impersonation of Michelangelo?
All right, here we go. Here we go.
We've got to think of something fast.
My favorite pizza is, what is it again? With it fish, goldfish. You have goldfish on there? Carl Power, totally tubular. So whatever. You never got to say whatever because that wasn't a thing. Whatevs. Yeah, whatevs. I know you are, but what am I? No, you aren't. Oh wait. Boy, that killed that one real fast.
Right, guys. Let's face it. They got it right.
All right, another question.
Hello, my name is
Hi.
Caitlin. Can you do the voice of Donatello and can you do the voice of? Can you do the Donatello and the voice of April O'Neil, please?
But you want Rob to do Donatello. Is that what you're saying? Oh,
I think what you're asking is, I was Donatello in a later iteration of the show, right? Yeah, 2012, in which I get to say things like, butt cannons? It has butt cannons? Yeah, this is the original April section.
This is April O'Neil of Channel 6 News. Put me down, you big ape. Put me down, you ape. You're a good April.
why, thank you.
We gotta think of something fast.
2 more questions. Hi.
Start fire. Hi, my name's Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
I'm only 20, but I just became a Ninja Turtle fan just a few years ago. I was my 2, so pretty excited about it. I was wondering, how did you guys feel? Obviously, you were in 2012. I grew up around that era, but wasn't really big. And how do you guys feel about the new iterations of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Obviously, you have like Seth Green's coming out with his Mutant Mayhem. You have Andy Suriano's Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've got some fans out here. How do you guys feel about those shows?
So here's the thing. Like we were talking about before, we had no idea what this thing was going to turn into. And I remember when they first, we read in the trade papers that they were going to make this live-action movie in late 80s, early 90s. And of course, we thought, well, we've been on the air for a couple of years. We are the Ninja Turtles. They're going to use us for the voices. And they didn't. And that was a real wake-up call, at least for me. And that's why that movie was a bomb and never went anywhere. That's why you never heard of it. But it was a really great sort of lesson for me, and especially as each successive iteration of the Turtles has come along, I realized, you know what, every generation gets their own version of TMNT that they get to own, and that's theirs. That's what they grew up on. And if they feel like going back and watching some of the original stuff like ours, like you, well, then that's fantastic. But it's look at the longevity that this thing has had because of that.
Exactly. It would not have been, I don't think, what it was without all of these different versions. And they all have something to bring. Some have incredible graphics. Some have really strong voices. Some have great storylines. They're all different, but they're all turtles. And I think that really, the variety alone, you know, I mean, and right just here, you've got Judith and you've got Brian and you've got Ernie. I mean,
And we've got Jim Cummings over there. He's our leatherhead. And our shredder sometimes. Woo!
so I think it's all great. I really do.